Hi, everyone. This is Heidi Bowman from Silex Financial, and today I have the distinct pleasure, while social distancing, to have a conversation with Realtor Extraordinaire Anthony Pizzino of Christie's, also known as Waits and Estates, if you're looking for him on the IG and Facebook handles. Welcome, Anthony.
Hi, Heidi. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So one of the things Anthony and I have been chatting over the last couple of weeks, I have the privilege of talking to a lot of realtors who are finding unique and creative ways to still stay busy and viable in this market where the way we do business has sort of changed a little bit, certainly in the short term. And one of the things that Anthony wanted to get out there was sort of how you as a buyer and or a seller should be thinking about getting ready for the market, because it's coming, it's just delayed. So summer is going to be hopefully a hot one, busy, and with a lot of people looking to buy homes and a lot of people putting homes on the market. So Anthony, talk to us a little bit about what you're seeing right now, and then in terms of buying and selling and how you're handling the market and how Christie's is handling the market when you're dealing with your clients, and then we'll sort of move forward into the planning going forward.
So right now, what I'm seeing with the market, everything's pretty much on hold for now. I've got a lot of buyers that, kind of pulled back a little bit just because future's a little uncertain. Mm-hmm. And I've even got sellers that have hesitated and pulled their houses off the market or have delayed putting them on the market just because, we don't want to, cause more of a spread. There's a lot more social restrictions going on. So, I do anticipate that it's just been delayed for now. Probably end of summer is when we will start to see people go back to normal and more houses hit the market.
So as you're working with your buyers and sellers right now, what are you, so let's start with the sellers. What are you suggesting they do to get ready for the market when it does come? What's the type of advice you're giving them?
If they can, just basic home improvements to make their house a little more appealing for the buyers. This way, when this does happen, when they decide to list, they're not behind the eight ball. They're actually ahead of the game. And, as far as buyers, I'm just telling them how they would normally go about a transaction, maybe not necessarily get out and go look for a home, especially if they're not comfortable. But, if they can, maybe fix their credit if that's an issue. Get in touch with a real estate agent like myself and just outline your, outline first your concerns and even outline just the criteria for your search. Maybe even get in contact with a lender and just get the pre-approval process started. This way, when the restrictions are lifted, they can go out and purchase how they normally would, because I do feel like there's going to be a lot of competition. Restrictions are lifted. So this way, they're not chasing their tail.
So obviously it's spring, right? So it's pretty outside. So there are the types of things that people could be doing, a seller could be doing right now is certainly getting the house curb appeal, right? Start working on the outside of the house, because the outside of the house is often the reflection of an inside of the house, right?
Yep.
And from a buyer's perspective, what kinds of trends, what do you think you're going to see in terms of movement? We already have a restricted market in terms of the number of properties that are available. Do you find, or do you believe that we will have more people wanting to live in the suburbs?
I think we will. I think they're going to get out of congested areas, especially now everybody is told to keep 6 feet apart from each other. I think people are going to look to move to the suburbs and spread out a little bit.
So how are you going to handle, so what I've heard you say from a seller's perspective, certainly getting the house ready to sell, but from a buyer perspective, they should also be taking a look at towns that they want to live in, correct? You got to get a sense of, you may not be able to be out and about, but you could certainly be in a car driving around.
Correct.
Taking a look at the different towns, what you like about them, researching the schools. That's the kind of thing that a buyer can have a conversation with you about, correct?
Yes.
So fast forward, I'm sure anybody who's listening to this hearing the end of the summer, it doesn't mean that we won't necessarily still be in lockdown by the end of the summer, but it takes time to put homes on the market, right? And people will need to get their kids back to school, etc. So fast forward to August, September, talk to me about what you would be doing with your sellers to get them ready for the market come that time, because it's going to, all of a sudden it's going to hit. So what will you be doing, or what are you talking to your sellers about now for that time besides getting the house ready?
So for my sellers, I mean, we are starting to see a big change in pretty much every industry. Virtual is huge right now. So I might talk to my sellers about possibly doing virtual tours of their home, probably a video, with me going around highlighting certain aspects of the house, whether that be just a normal iPhone video camera, Zoom, FaceTime. And then there's even this Matterport camera, and that actually is like a 3D tour of a house, and it almost looks like you're in the home.
So tell me more about that.
So that one, I think, is like a great tool, and I think all these virtual aspects, I think, will be very good and a lot better than just basic photography for a home.
Mm-hmm.
Get a lot of people sometimes that'll go through a house before, when they look at pictures, and then they get in the house and they get disappointed. They say, oh, the pictures highlighted this, they did that. I was expecting something different. These aspects will be able to highlight the house a lot better, and I think it could be a good tool for agents where, everybody's schedules are always different. So let's say you have a client and they can't necessarily get to the house at a certain time. You as the agent could go, do your whole tour, send it to them. They can at least get a feel for it and then want to go back. So I think my sellers, I would really stress the importance of video and 3D tours right now, just to get ready.
So the buyer, we've talked about how we've lined them up, what they still need to do to line up. That doesn't change much. It's pre-approval, sitting down with you in a Zoom conversation and having a discussion about what they're looking for. Commuter towns may not be as popular if people are moving into the suburban areas, but nonetheless, I doubt that. I'm sure people will be back into New York in no time. But and getting pre-approved and knowing what they want, the pros and the cons, and because the market is saturated already, they're going to have to be willing to pay. Right? It's not one of those things where you're going to have the luxury of you're not going to have the luxury of a whole lot of negotiation. You're going to have to be willing to come in at asking price and move forward, right?
Yeah, no, I definitely expect that, just because everything's on hold right now. So it's just like we're on pause. Come a couple months when the floodgates open up, everybody's going to be looking to buy, looking to sell. It's going to be a lot more inventory, so a lot more competition.
Yeah. So in closing, what are you most excited about coming forward? Because I think that it's sort of a wait and see, but you've been busy. So you're talking to a lot of people, et cetera, and you're hearing, people are sort of champing at the bit. The weather's getting nice. Today happens to be a beautiful day. So people are getting champing. What are you most excited about come the summer, and what you can share and with your buyers and sellers for you personally?
What I'm most excited about, first off, is just getting back to normal.
Yeah.
But, just seeing if all these predictions and everything is actually going to pan out like we feel. I am actually really excited about the virtual tour aspects. So, because I think that'll change, how real estate is done going forward. So that's one thing I'm really excited about.
Good. Well, folks, this is not one of these conversations that needs to be drawn out. It's what Anthony is telling you is just that it's coming, and be prepared on both sides. and to give him a call, because planning, you have the time now. So planning is what's most important, and doing your research. And so working with someone like Anthony will set you in good stead when there's all these great videos and memes where you see people, you know, getting ready to, as the doors open, you know, it'll be people just flooding out of their houses into the streets, right? And those people are going to be getting into their cars and coming to look at homes and ready to move. So thank you for the time to share. And you'll find Anthony at your hand. Why don't you give them your handles, Anthony, so that when you post this, they know?
So all my handles are Waits_and_estates. You can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time, and happy hunting when everyone starts.
Thanks, Heidi. Take care.
Take care.